What is the difference between machine language, lower-level language, and higher-level language? How do they all work together? How do things happen, and how do they translate? Well, I'm about to tell you, so let's get right into it. Machine language is the language that a computer's processor, or CPU, understands. It consists of binary code, which is a series of OSouth and OneSouth that dictate how a computer will function. When you buy a computer, it comes with a CPU that has machine language embedded into it. The machine language is stored in the ROM, which is the read-only memory of the computer. The machine language tells the CPU what to do in response to a particular input. For example, it might tell the CPU how to respond when you press a key on the keyboard, or how to display an image on the screen when you click a mouse button. A computer's machine language is very simple, but it is very fast because it is in binary code, which is very easy for a computer to understand. Binary code is just a series of OSouth and OneSouth, and a computer can very quickly determine what to do based on those inputs. However, humans cannot easily read or write machine language, which is why higher-level languages were developed. A higher-level language is a programming language that is more complex than machine language. It is designed to be more user-friendly for humans rather than for computers. Higher-level languages are much more complicated than machine language, but they are much easier for humans to understand. Examples of higher-level languages include Python, C++, Java, and JavaScript. A lower-level language is a programming language that is closer to machine language than a higher-level language. It is more difficult for humans to understand than a higher-level language, but it is still easier for humans to understand than machine language. An example of a lower-level language is assembly language. When you write code in a higher-level language, such as Python, the code must be translated into machine language before it can be executed by a computer. This is because the computer's CPU can only understand machine language. The translation process typically takes place using a compiler or an interpreter. A compiler translates the code all at once, while an interpreter translates the code line by line. There are also other ways to run Python code without translating it into machine language, but that is for another video. So here is a simple example to illustrate the relationship between machine language, lower-level language, and higher-level language. Let's say you want to write a program that prints "Hello World" to the console. If you were to write this program in machine language, it would look something like this. This is a series of binary code that is very difficult for humans to read or write. If you were to write this program in a lower-level language like assembly, it would look something like this. This is still pretty complicated, but it is much easier to understand than machine language. Each line of assembly code corresponds to a single line of machine code. Now let's look at how this program would look in a higher-level language like Python. Here is the Python code to print "Hello World" to the console. Isn't that much easier to read and write? In fact, it looks almost like English. So what happens when you run the Python program? First, the Python interpreter translates the code into bytecode, which is a lower-level language that is still platform independent. Then, the bytecode is executed by the virtual machine, which is essentially a small program that runs on top of the CPU's machine language. The virtual machine emulates a CPU so that the bytecode can be executed on any type of CPU. Ultimately, the bytecode is translated into machine language that the CPU can understand. Now you know the difference between machine language, lower-level language, and higher-level language. You also know how they all work together and how things happen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. My name is Peter, and I am the CEO of Citify Tech. I really appreciate that, and I will see you in the next video.